Welcome to Psych 101. I'm really excited about this episode tonight. But before we get into it, I'm going to start with tonight's opening line from a song and see if anyone can tell me what it is. Opening line is, what you need, she give tenfold. Come here, Papa, plant your seed. She can grow it from her womb, a family. Provide love and overlooked and unappreciated, you see. You can reciprocate, I got delicious taste. You need a woman's touch in your place. Just protect her and keep her safe. Baby, worship my hips and waist, so feminine with grace. I touch your soul when you hear me say, let me be your. Does anybody know what song that is? No. It's okay. Don't know. It's Doja Cat. Woman, let me be a woman. Woman. Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
oh, what's
So, but yes, she's talking about all the wonderful things that we as divine, extraordinary, beautiful creatures, us as women are. So that is our topic for tonight, divine feminine. Um, First, I wanted to shout out. We have a kind of like a little ladies' night going on, and we have some lovely drinks provided to us by Sisa and Company. These are her floral vita drinks. Is that what they're called? Yes. So they are non-alcoholic, lots of fruit, lots of good, healthy things, and they're really beautiful and pretty to look at.
yes, they are.
And we have these rose petal blunts as well. So Elisa of Sisa and Company, she's made this jewelry, and with this girls' night package, we have this lovely necklace that actually has herbs in it. So you can take it out and stuff your little rose petal. Right, right. It's mad cute. So shout out to the women, and then also shout out. Remind me your name, sweetheart. Empress. Oh yes. From Go
Heard
Crazy
that.
Radio with the
Heard
red hair
that.
Empress. Yes, shout out to you because you're holding it down amongst a crew of men. So yeah, that's kind of what we're getting into today, and it's not easy. Tell us about it, right? It isn't. Okay, we're gonna talk about the flowers. Yes, and I love it. I definitely want audience participation and feedback for sure. So, first, what I'm actually gonna talk about on the last episode, we discussed religion. And I want to actually start out by talking about spirituality tonight because I feel like there is a bit of a difference. Spirituality and spirit is why I chose these two women as guests for tonight because these are some of the most goddess, divine, queen women that I have met. So let's take
We
a
like
moment.
to think likewise.
Oh, thank you so much. So, of course, we have Zaya Queen, the beautiful, beautiful Zaya Queen,
Love it so
and
much.
Anna Hlin in the spirit as well. So, both of you guys, I've heard you talk about spirit and the spirit, and Anna, you literally have it in your name when you perform. It's me and the spirit. So, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what that means to both of you.
All right. So, um, so I've been in tune with spirit since I was very little. I've had visits from other realms and also, heard, you know, voices around me. So I'm very aware that spirit is with us in this realm as well. So um, I've never felt alone. So I know spirit is with me. And I've also, well, I have my grandmother's spirit with me on my right side, and she's like very like an antsy type of spirit. So I know sometimes I get like in that kind of spiritual frequency, and I know that it's hers. And on my left side, I have like an army of ancestors and spirit guides and souls that cling to me. So I also believe that spirit speaks through people and animals and environments. Just very in tune with who I am and how I connect with spirit. And that's why I perform as me and spirit around me.
I love it. I love that you said I'm never alone because I think that that is another very key part. So, Zay, can you share a
Yes.
little bit about spirituality or spirit for you?
Yeah. Well, for me, I'd have to also take it back to being very, very young and very, very in tune with not just myself, but a lot of people that I surrounded myself with, and a lot of people who fed me through what they had been fed as well. My paternal side of my family are Christian, religious background, Baptist specifically.
Very specific.
So, if you know, you know. And I was honestly kind of raised by my dad's parents. And we're talking a young kid in the hands of 60-year-old, 70-year-old type thing. And then also my mother's side of the family was, they practice Islam. They're Moorish American. So at a very, very tender age, I dealt with almost like the Romeo and Juliet, the battling families and them
Dueling,
forcing which one is right, which one is wrong type thing. You know, those are two religions that you kind of either is this
Or that.
or is that. You know, and that put me in a really strange position really, really early on. But I also knew that there was something that the humans, this version of humans, we haven't quite deciphered just yet. We are not capable of understanding even an inkling of what spirit, what God, what theoretically what all of this is and where we all came from and what the next life is, you know? So to me, that brought me to spirituality versus choosing a specific religion. Because when we really look at it, religion, all of the religions, they have some spirituality that connects them all together. That there's some commonalities, same stories, but just written a little bit differently. There's different names. Things are pronounced just a little bit differently. We got Jesus, we got Yeshua, we have Easter, we have Ishtar, things of that nature. Exactly. So not only that, battling, people telling me what it is I need to be practicing, what I need to be doing versus letting me learn who I am and growing into that decision. I knew already that I had been here before. I had met these battles several times before, just in different versions of myself. I had seen things before. That's why I approached them how I did. But nonetheless, long story short, having all of that stirring into one little tiny person that just knew too much and felt way too much way too soon led me to where I am right now and why I do the things that I do and why the energy that's around people like us is so like, something about you. I can't figure it out, but
Pulls you in.
It's
Tribe.
that thing.
Tribe.
I see it, I feel it, I need more of it.
Yes. I think another thing that feels that way is just, in general, feminine energy. So I want to talk about the nature of feminine energy. And I think that it's something that is innate, but it's also taught. Hey,
It's so pretty.
It's so
It
gorgeous,
is.
isn't
It's
it?
really
And feminine and
tasty. It
pretty
is.
and all the things.
It's my color too.
I know, right? Hey. But yeah, so the nature of feminine energy, I think it's innate, but it's also taught, right? So I know, for example, my mother is very like prim and prissy, and this is what a lady does, and so it's embodied in me. I am a very feminine woman. I'm a lady, right? So I want to talk a little bit about where y'all's feminine energy comes from.
Well, okay. All right. So I come from long line of women.
Where are you from, first of all?
I'm from Iceland.
Yes.
I could see it.
So,
Good girl, that girl ice.
so I grew up with a great grandmother, two great grandmothers. I grew up with both grandmothers and my mother, aunts, grand aunts. It was very feminine around me. Yeah, it was very, very feminine around me. And they were all like kind of similar, like very just, I call them, they're kind of snobby, like kind of just like, you know. And so my mom is sort of like that, but I feel like she kind of went like a little different route. And so she's somewhat like them. Like she kept like certain, like the way I seen her was like more like elegance and the feminine, like the softer, the softer side of them, because they're kind of harsh. So so she's more like, you know, a strong woman, but very soft. Like would wear her dresses and, you know, fix her hair and, you know, like wear her makeup and paint her nails and like all of that. So I feel like my grandmother was also, her mother was like that. So I feel like it's kind of trickled down to me, and I took, you know, like the painting my nails and doing my hair and all that stuff. And I feel like that's kind of, you know, like one aspect of it. And then they're nurturing. They're very like family oriented, and we have a large family, and they're all very, even though they're harsh, they're all very like caring about the branches. You know, like we have family reunions, and you know, every year it was like a must for everybody to be there, and like, or we would piss off great grandma, you know, and nobody wanted to do that. So it was kind of like that. And then, you know, I've just kind of witnessed, you know, women that my moms was friends with, and, you know, they're all different. Like, some of them are very rebellious and very just, like, out there, and some of them are very, you know, kind of contained and, like, restrained. So I've seen...
spectrum.
Yeah, I've seen the spectrum of all of them, and I kind of feel like the older I get, the more inspiring like women around me are, versus just being focused on, you know, where I come from, who I come from. Yeah.
To be honest, I got a lot of duality going on up in this here vessel of mine. But when it comes to upholding my womanhood, femininity, my mom and my grandmother are definitely at the forefront of things. My mom, I call her the HBIC of life, to be honest. Like, I say that about her job, for one, the job that she's held for as long as I can remember, that really held some significance, and how I've just watched her in that one specific area just, like, knock shit out the park, you know? And I mean, like, with no fucks given, none. And just excelling. And then also my grandmother, I miss her very, very dearly. Oh, she taught me almost everything that encompasses of, you know, when my mom was at work and, you know, was a young mother, my grandma stepped in, like I said, my grandparents kind of helped shape me into the person that I am. My grandma is very much like myself. Also, my mother is very much like myself. My mom and I, our birthdays are 3 days apart. Oh, wow. My grandmother is also a Leo like myself, but she ends the Leos, and my birthday begins the Leos. Okay, hey, Leos in the building, fire. Hey. Okay, July 23rd over here. Nice. But those women have been like fireballs, champions of my life. My grandmother drove school buses for 30 plus years. And when I say she's dealt with some things, and I mean it's some very, very, very similar things in life to as far as our connection. And those two women specifically have just given me so many gems over the years, and just led by example of, you know, even though things look tough, we don't have the most. Things are a little bit strange right now. I'm a little shaky in my boots, which is making you feel a little shaky in your boots. We got this. We're gonna be okay. Yeah. Like, we gone, at the end of the day gotta end, like Glow said. So we're gonna start again tomorrow and make something shake. Yeah. You know? But those two women definitely unlock the vault when it comes to being a woman not just the essence of being beautiful or being dainty, even though they did those things as well. My grandma always had her rollers in. I remember her smell of perfume before church and on Sunday mornings. My mom, I remember her doing her little black eyeliner and her one little curl in the front and her swoop at the bottom. Then bump the ends at the bottom and a little bit of lip gloss. That's all she needs. That's all she needs. But when it comes to being a woman and setting the standard for women and separating yourself from the men, because at the end, you know, we compete with the men compete with women in certain aspects, but setting yourself apart and making sure that you show that you're not just this one thing, you're also this thing, and you might can be that thing as well. They made sure to put that at the forefront and let me know that you can be whatever it is that you said you want to be, or at least attempt.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very prominent to me.
I love that you both mentioned grandmothers. I have to mention mine as well, because
Shout out
it's just
to the
such an important,
grandmas.
they hold such an important place in our hearts. And as we talk about learning to be a woman, I think in all of our lives, that's kind of a staple. It's like a foundation, right? Like I can never think of a point where grandma wasn't there, or Nana. I call my Nana when Nana wasn't there. And you talked about her smell. Like when you said that, I could smell my Nana.
Just smell
Mine
immediately.
too. I was like, oh,
Yeah, so it's just a connection just from the strong females in our lives. That's dope. This is not a good segue from Nana, but I wanted to talk about sexuality and sensuality. Anna and I had a little bit of this conversation the other day, but that there is a difference in the two. So I wanted to kind of get to the difference, and also, I guess, our, I don't know if it's like a need, but maybe it's just a natural thing to embody those things at times, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. You want to start this one?
Sure. I think, like you were just saying, those can be two very, very different things. Like, one can be one thing without the other. Like, something can be sensual without being sexual. And sometimes you can be very sexual without being sensual at all. And most of us are probably very familiar with that one. To be quite honest. Myself can't relate, but...
I mean.
but no, I think for women it's very important to be able to explore both of those sides. It might be just by yourself, you know, in the company of just yourself, and that's sometimes that is the most exhilarating experience. Liberating, freeing, and self-discovering type of experience that you'll ever have. So I'm always applaud the ladies to be sensual and sexual in all of the things.
I've seen some of your latest dancing.
My latest endeavors.
I absolutely love it.
So, real quick, I'm just gonna touch on it. I used to be a dancer, an exotic dancer, way back when. Way back when.
Girl, you're not.
When I had me.
I know I'm only like this old.
I mean, like college, like straight out of high school type. But Baby Zay, for sure. Baby locks and everything.
Oh,
but that was just on and off. I was just like, my mom told me, that's one thing my mom told me. It's funny, it's one of her womanly gems. She said, when I turned 17 years old, she said, the pole is a job. The corner is not. One, you can file on your taxes. The other one, you probably gonna run into some trouble. Okay? So I always kept that in my back pocket. But nonetheless, I used to do that. But lately, I started relearning the art behind it and the craft. One, to get me out of the house. Two, to move my body. And three, to reconnect with my body, because I lost myself over the past couple of years physically. But it's been really fun re-exploring the sensuality and then taking that shit back home.
That part.
You know? But it's lit.
I love it. I could tell. I love watching your growth, and I was just saying it to Lilith the other day. Like, I feel like you're very much experiencing or exploring your feminine side again, and it's beautiful to witness.
Appreciate
that. We know it's been a journey, and I just wanted to say, like, I love watching you grow and glow and shine.
And she look good.
Yeah, and you look good. And your voice.
Yes,
know,
both of these
Same, right.
songstresses.
Oh, my
Lord have
goodness.
mercy.
Yeah.
So, Anna, what about your sexuality, sensuality? Tell us about it.
So mine's kind of been a journey. Well, I guess everybody's is a journey, but my journey has been. So I kind of started exploring very early on with my sexuality and not my sensuality, but my sexuality, and then I figured out kind of what direction I was going in fairly early on. Then I got married a couple of times. And then I realized I was really starving myself of sensual things. Like I felt the sexual part, like we were saying, but I wasn't feeling like that woman. Like I wasn't feeling the sensual side of me at all. So I started, well, after I divorced the second time, I started kind of exploring ways of liberating my blockages. And I found some interesting ways, explored them, and liberated myself. And since then, I've come like more in touch with my sensual side and know more about what is sexy to me, like not like what's considered sexy out here, like more so like what is a turn on for me, like what is sensual for me, like what is sexual to me, what is like the balance. And it's been fun, still exploring, but it's been fun. I feel like there's absolutely a difference, but I feel like once you combine the two, it's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
We could have multiple discussions on this, but I'm gonna stop right here.
No, definitely. Something I picked up off of that you said, you had been starving yourself of your sensuality. And that's such a descriptive word, starving.
Yeah.
And then both of you guys used the word liberating when you did get in touch with your sensuality. So I think that that's important to note because it is, like I said, a natural part of us as women and, really human beings. But I think it's important to embrace, and oftentimes we are shamed for both of those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is nothing to be ashamed
Not
of.
at all.
We are all different, and we all have different, preferences. And, like what's sensual to me is not sensual to you, and might not be sensual to you, but then it might be vice versa. It's something that is sensual, and, and I feel like we have a good balance of the two, and then we have
Yes, I
something to
agree.
go by.
Okay. The next topic is kind of following along with that, but the pressure or importance of our physical appearance as women, especially being in the arts and entertainment field. I think that a lot of times, this is not meant to sound like a bash, but like men can show up looking any type of way, and it doesn't necessarily matter,
Yeah.
But as women, it very much does matter, and it can be a pressure thing. So I just wanted to get some of y'all's feedback and experiences.
So I think it's very easy for women to compare themselves to, if not other women, themselves in different forms, ourselves in different forms, whether it's like 5 years ago or how we might foresee ourselves after we get a check real quick, one of those things. It doesn't even have to be anything extreme, but it's easy for us to kind of physically pick ourselves apart, and more so now that we are just force-fed these photos, these images and videos of this quote-unquote perfect physique or this perfect, likable and shareable body, when in all actuality, none of that is real.
Yes.
The things we see are not real on the internet, you guys. The things we see on the internet is not real. There's always some tweaks that has happened before we got a chance to consume it. They had to add a little garnish. They had to change this. But we have to remember that, you know, this is our body. So the things that we think about that body, sometimes they manifest in the physical. Like you say, oh, I look awful today. You're gonna go out feeling awful. You might turn that thought of awfulness into a headache, into a stomach ache, because you're overthinking it. You forgot to eat because you was too busy trying to figure out which pair of jeans looked best on you that day. And you might not even see nothing on Facebook or Instagram. It's just you
In your thoughts.
and your thoughts about what could be or what should have been and things of that nature. But we got this body, we got to love on it. If that means changing certain habits or moving a little bit more so that you can feel just a little bit better the next day, we can, it's okay to take those steps, you know? And yeah, guys, y'all could definitely, y'all could feel some of these feels too sometimes if y'all want to.
Yeah, so I'm kind of on the same wavelength. So younger me was very, like, I don't really care. You know, you can think what you want to think. And then for some reason, being in, like you said, in the creative spaces, a lot of the times back then, like me as a teenager is like 98. I'm telling on myself. So like 98 and then like early 2000s. So like I'm really not caring, but a lot of the feedback I was getting was because, you know, I would yo-yo a lot. So I would be like slim one day and, you know, 1 week, and then next week I might have a little muffin top or, you know, like I have a little extra fluff. And, you know, I didn't mind it, but somebody felt the need to mention those things. And as a teenager, I was just kind of like looking back, I was just kind of like, well, look the other way, you know, like, but I didn't notice how many times that did happen throughout my journey, like where I was put in spaces where there was a certain image expected of me, like, oh, we'll fit you in this category, and you're gonna have to look like this, and you know we're gonna fix all that. I heard that a lot. We're gonna fix all that, and I'm like, okay, you know, like, so after, you know, like after I had children, then I became like, I guess my body fell into place, and I felt more comfortable with my body. So I was less about watching how much I weighed and, you know, watching what I ate, and, you know, oh, I got a show coming up and I gotta, you know, like, or, oh, I'm working with these people and I know how they get with, you know, like, and, or you're in this show and you know you gotta fit in the costume, you know, like, it's certain things you gotta just keep in mind, like 24/7, especially if you're on a contract, you know, and it's just a certain type of environment, and it's a lot of it is very toxic or like hostile towards women's bodies. And like I feel like now, like, you know, with my, you know, my curves and my extra fluff and all that stuff, like I like it there. Like I like it there now. It's like I don't want it anywhere else.
It's
so
laying.
yeah, it's nice, you know. So I'm very comfortable with myself now, but I could definitely relate to times where it was an issue for a lot of other people.
Definitely. Okay. Next, both of you again do music, and I know just naturally, I think are in this field, we're in a lot of male-dominated spaces.
Yeah.
So I think it can be difficult sometimes as a woman trying to navigate that and being, I don't know, perceived in other ways than than you really are. So yeah, any experiences with that?
Yeah. Yes, I've had a few experiences with that where people, well, I guess you show up and you look the way you look and you just expect to come and make music, and there have been ulterior motives. And then there have been spaces where the ulterior motives were already in place and I was unaware of it. And then there was spaces where it's kind of just like, yeah, no, because you are a woman, we're not gonna let you in. We're just gonna have this space right here. And being from Iceland, like a lot of the spaces I did experience it like that. Maybe not so male dominated, but it was more like maybe like a family thing, like a family oriented more thing, like not oriented, family, like a, like, oh, we're not related type of stuff. So it's a little different over there, but over here I've felt a few times where you kind of like, not like maybe kept out, but it's not like well like that you are in their space. So yeah, it's a soft way of saying it, I think.
I've been in some sticky predicaments myself. There's been a handful of times where I've probably been in a venue, or I've arrived at a venue and somebody mistook me for the next shorty that they would have, had plans with or whatever, and I'm like, nah, I'm here for business. Like this is this. Whatever else you thought that was, that's that. And then also just, sometimes being the person that's in the light, Immediately after the light just dims a little bit, people feel like, oh shoot, let me go over there real quick. Let me see if I can slide real quick, And it's just like, it doesn't have to be like that all the time. If I didn't send for you, don't come for me. Don't make it awkward, please. Yes. I'm just here to lay this hook real quick. I just want to put a hook on this beat.
It's kind of like
I'm really here to work.
Yes. She had left, but Empress from earlier was saying that they just want the flower. And I think a lot of the times, especially when you have such a light and it's just this beautiful kind of attracting thing, then that's what people see you for. I've been around a lot of males and had conversations where they straight up are like, I'm not trying to be your friend. Like, I don't want a female as a friend. Right. I was like, oh, I thought we were friends. Right. But, so... yeah, I think it's just difficult. Sometimes people just want to see you for the nature of sexuality versus all of the, intelligence or all the amazing things that you are and compose of,
Yeah.
So that's next topic. So there is a narrative that there is just competitiveness amongst women. We don't really support each other. We don't really like each other. When they're, when they have these trends of like us really on social media and stuff being like, oh yeah, we're sisters and stuff. They say it's fake, and then none of it is real. So I wanted to get y'all's opinion. Is this true or false? And where does this narrative come from that women just all hate each other and are just all competing with each other?
False.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we can't speak for all women, obviously, because it's some real mean girl energy out there. It's some real mean girl fake vibes out there. But I feel like if you and I love you, I can't wait to see you, get home safe. It's been a pleasure. You look great. You smell good. You look like you're feeling it from either one of us up here on this stage. I can guarantee you, we meant that.
Yes.
Absolutely. We mean that.
Yes, you can definitely tell genuine.
And I feel the same way. Like, I feel like it's, I know what it feels like to be on the receiving end of women not being able to be happy for you and with you. And I don't like that feeling. So I try to support the best way I can and empower the best way I can. It doesn't happen all the time. I mean, I have my misses, but I also I strive to empower because of that reason. And I do know that is a lot of like you said, competitive nature towards men. I personally don't feel like I'm competing with men because I feel like women are in a different bracket. Like I feel like we are a different species.
I was thinking
Feel that too.
I was looking for a different word, but that's the one that came to mind. That's what I'm gonna use it. So, and I feel like this whole like, oh, we better than and we're equal. I mean, like, it's nothing wrong with being partners and wanting to take part in helping each other out and making love grow and blossom. I just don't feel like we need to be competing. Like, there's different lanes. Like, it's for a reason. Like, physically, we are not built the same, and mentally we have different characteristics and traits, and I feel like it's all a question of balance. And like with us being in this industry, like most of the time I feel like women are either in that space like who you think you are, and like, but we really just in there like, hey, like, give me a hug. Like, that's really the energy you want to be bringing. But I guess a lot of us just don't know how. Maybe that's to start, maybe.
And I think, like you said, you spoke about when you were younger and things, and just in the past, and baby's A, and just there's stages that we go through where we're probably much less healed than we are now, but where the world does tell us you're not good enough, you need to look this way, you need to do that. So we're meeting women at different stages of being healed. So there are, like you said, there is mean girl energy, and when that comes about, that's 100% about them and where they are, and projecting things. But I feel like the reason why this works is because it's mature, healed, feminine energy, which is really what I think is the divine feminine energy.
It is,
Yeah. Last thing I want to talk about is self-love, because I think it's so important. And I want to, again, in a world where it tries to tear you down and make you doubt yourself and pit you against each other and pit us against men, which we absolutely need each other.
Yeah,
We
But,
do.
yes, absolutely.
Don't let nobody tell you any different.
We need men.
Yeah, yes, we need each other, yin and yang.
Yes, the balance.
Yes, but how did you get to a stage of truly loving and accepting yourself?
I think for me, I'm still in that process. This is a never ending, always evolving journey of learning to love yourself and continuing to learn on yourself, because we evolve as humans, we evolve as people. Who I am today is not who I was 2 months ago. So I'm learning to love this version of me, because this version of me feels a little bit different about something specifically, or not so specific, but it's always a priority to make sure that I check in with myself and ask myself, what is it that you need? What is it that you have not done for yourself that has to happen to get you to 100%, to be your 100% tomorrow or this evening. And I think it's important for all women to do that, to do that check-in. So I can't say that there's a specific when, but when I started to notice that I had to make this a thing, realistically, probably when I got pregnant with my first son, Kingston. As a woman, I've learned a lot of things about being a woman and being in this body that when I found out that I was pregnant. I found out a lot of things over that journey. Like, fun fact, this is very random, but I'm also not just a musician and things of that nature. I'm also a birth worker. I'm a doula and I'm a lactation specialist as well. And one thing I learned about the woman's body is that your mammary glands, aka the breasts, are never fully developed unless you lactate. So if you've never lactated, your breasts are not fully developed. They haven't reached that last stage of development.
Oh, wow.
I know that.
Yeah, we trigger different hormones when that happens. We produce different hormones. So I learned a lot about myself and reminded myself that you have to check in. You have to prioritize yourself, not just for yourself, but because you're doing some great, hard, strenuous, continuous, nonstop work for X amount of time.
Yeah.
And nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. So you've got to check in. You have to love on yourself in all of the ways and remind the people that love you how to love on you in the ways that you need, in the way that you receive. Not just how they give it or show it, but in the way that you receive it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that
Beautifully
was
stated.
beautiful.
Anna, self-love.
Yeah, so you touched on a lot of points. Yes. So similar for me, like I feel like I had kind of like I outgrew a lot of versions of me, like we were talking about earlier, like, you know, the teenage you and the, you know, then the young adult you, and then you have babies, and, now, first baby, like, yeah, ooh, I got this, I got this. This is, man, my baby's gonna be this and this and this, and, we got all these great expectations. And then baby number 2 comes, and you're like, shit. Okay. All right. Wait, okay, how did this one go again? Okay, all right. So, okay, I got this. So I got 3 boys, and they're all different individuals. And like I said, I thought I had it with, finally had gotten it together with second born, and then third one came along, and I was like, none of the stuff that I used before works right now, so I don't even know, where to begin. So I kind of rediscovered myself each time, and then I forgot, while I was rediscovering myself as mommy, I forgot how to be me. And then I just kind of had to piece that back together, and once, like you said earlier, I have to piggyback off of that because it's so on frequency. So it's the fact that you're always evolving, and like you have to celebrate where you've come, the achievements that you made, even though they're small, and acknowledge where you've come too. Like you said, check in. Okay, where am I at? Did I do this? What's happening? Where's this coming from? And generational curses, yikes. And that finding the root of that has been a journey by itself. And then correcting those and wanting different for your children. And it's just, you're always evolving. You're always evolving. And journaling helps a lot. A lot, just writing down and then looking back, and you're like, oh, wow, okay, you've done all this, but you may have felt like you weren't moving at all. But it's all a change, it's all growth, and it all matters. It all matters, big or small.
Yes, absolutely. It's all part of the journey. I think earlier somebody mentioned being in tune, being in tune with yourself.
Yes.
And I think that, for me, that's where the most self-love has come. I haven't always known who I am. I haven't always been this version of me. But the more in alignment I've gotten with myself and more in tune is when I start to love myself more. So I think that, like you said, it does come with a lot of checks because motherhood, as you said, you lose your identity. It's like your role. It's just, who am I? So going back to the I thought I knew who I was, and
Yes.
now it's a little
Yeah. It's a little
confusing,
shaky here.
distorted. Yeah. So
What am I doing?
what is life? What is happening?
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's a constant journey and constant just finding yourself and loving yourself. So
Yes.
yeah, this has been a really dope conversation. I appreciate
Yeah.
both of you ladies
Appreciate
for
you.
joining
Thank
me
you
on
for
this
having
ladies'
us.
night.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
again
you.
to Cisa and Company for these lovely drinks, these lovely
Yes.
rose petal
Delicious.
blunts,
It's
and
so
the
good.
jewelry. Yes, yes, everything is delicious. So thank y'all for tuning in. This has been another episode of Psych 101.